So he had the idea, he had the energy, right? He had the vision, leadership and vision. He didn't have the capital. So he went north to look for the capital. So what happened? Well, telegraphs, inquiries, let me just use a broad term, inquiries, were made of Washington concerning Benson. And let me introduce another term here, the Tuskegee machine. And this is what a term which coined by W.E.B. Du Bois in regard to Washington's political base in Tuskegee. It is not a sewing machine. It is not a machine to plow fields. And when students don't come and I put it on my exam, come to class and I put it on my exam, it's interesting the array of answers I get. Anyway, a call went down to the Tuskegee machine, and of course its fulcrum is Washington. And W.E.B. Du Bois makes an interesting observation. He said, Washington didn't say yay, he didn't say nay, he just kept still. Just kept silent. What do you think happened? A thought? Any thought? What does it tell you?
Didn't give us money.
Sure, thank you, Miss Malowski. He didn't get a penny. He could not raise a penny. I remember what I said, what Washington said of this young man who went to the machinist shop, and these 20 white men, in consequence of the colors black and white, would not give him an opportunity to earn an honest day's living. How he became a drunkard, just a wreck. The same thing happened, says Du Bois, to Will Benson. The promise that he had was just shattered. And in large measure, Washington, by simply keeping silent, had that salutary and unhappy effect on the life of Will Benson. And just to show you, in regard to his connections, of course, that was Theodore Roosevelt concerning President Grover Cleveland. If I can find a passage quickly for you, I hope I have it. Oh yes, talking about Mr. Cleveland, that's Grover Cleveland, Democrat, who won the presidency, lost the presidency, and then won the presidency again in '92. He won in what? 88, then it would be 94 to 88. So he'd have lost in 90, not 8, of course, 18. So he'd have lost the election in 1884 to Benjamin Harrison, son of William Harrison of the 1840s. And grandson, sorry, not son. And then, in point of fact, he won the popular vote, but he lost in the Electoral College. One of how many presidents have won in the Electoral College and lost in the, won the popular vote but lost in the Electoral College. And you had John Quincy Adams. Come class, I mean, you should help me here. Who else? John Quincy Adams, and we have then you have, of course, I mentioned just now Benjamin Harrison, and you have, of course, George Walker Bush, but there's one more. There are 4 of them. Who's the 4th one? You should be able to tell me quickly. Who's the 4th one? Who? Tell me who? No one is willing. I can't pause. It slips my mind. I'll tell you next time. There are 4 of them. Anyway, or if it comes to my mind before the end of the class, in regard to Cleveland, Cleveland is back in the presidency. And Washington has this to say: Mr. Cleveland has not only shown his friendship for me in many personal ways, but has always consented to do anything I have asked of him in our school. I remember Andrew Carnegie gave Tuskegee $600,000 in 1903, which effectively put the institution on a reasonably secure economic foundation. This he has done whether it was to make a personal donation or to use his influence in securing the donation of others. Judging from my personal acquaintance with Mr. Cleveland, I do not believe that he is conscious of possessing any color prejudice. He is too great for that. In my contact with people, I find that, as a rule, it is only the little, narrow people who live for themselves, who never read good books, who do not travel, who never open up their souls in a way to permit them to come in contact with other souls, with the great outside world, who harbor those sorts of prejudices. No man whose vision is bounded by color can come into contact with what is highest and best in the world. I will read that again to you from Washington. No man whose vision is bounded by color can come into contact with what is highest and best in the world. Well, what Washington is saying to us is that, look, I was born a slave. I have befriended presidents. Presidents have responded favorably to me. I have even had tea with Queen Victoria, which of course he did. I born a slave. And look, I have created the Tuskegee Institution, which has opened up educational opportunities for thousands upon thousands of young people who otherwise would not have had an opportunity for a higher education. See, if I could have done it, others too also can do it. I have led by example. I have had a vision. Remember, in Washington, I thought about going into politics, but then I recognized that I could do much more that was substantial by not engaging my life in political activity, in core political activity. That is to say, make political activity my vocation in life. And so then Washington's message was clear to black people: patience, forbearance, hard work. And to whites, good behavior, good character, a helping hand. To reach the heights that he had achieved, Washington in effect says that certain compromises are necessary, and that the soiling of one's hand or hands is just as important as keeping them clean in the context of book learning. Soiling one's hand by working out in the field or in domestic labor, just as important as keeping them clean in the context of book learning. And so one may ask, of what value then is Washington's vision of leadership for our own time? Well, I'm not going to answer that question today. I'm going to turn rather to W.E.B. Du Bois. But I do pose that question for you in the context of what I have discussed with you concerning Washington.